Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Road to ECS. This time I'll come to that later. Because you know the faces, but I will come to that a bit later. Unfortunately, this is the first and hopefully only season of the only episode of this season without Valdek, who is not feeling well. And here, everyone get better, Valdek, and see you in the next episode.
Yes.
For this. I was thinking, when did I meet Heather for the first time in my life?
Oh my goodness.
I counted back and I found photos.
Oh,
2012.
okay. Cool.
We know each other for 14 years now. That was
Wow.
2011. Sorry, that was
Okay.
my first MVP summit. And
Ah.
we happened to be in Seattle, and we just were hanging around with the other people there. So we know each other for the good 15 years now.
That's
Somebody who
amazing.
I'm proud and happy to call friend. And we have Karuana, legend, very dear friend. And yes, you are what it is. And somebody who is together with Heather running the awesome Microsoft Global Community Initiative, which we are also going to mention a few times today. Let's just put it that way. But before we go to Heather and Caruana, Mustafa, how are you doing, brother?
Doing good. A lot of things going with ECS right now, so
Yes.
but it's satisfying. When you see that things are progressing, it's good.
Yes, everyone, before we started this short heads up on what's going on with our favorite conference. 2 weeks ago, we had here with us in Germany, Ahmad Najjar, and Mustafa, Ahmad, and me actually put together the agenda, the plan. We are going to publish that the next week on the web, so you will not only know which sessions are going to happen in Cologne, but when is what is happening. So we put the whole schedule. And since, as you know, we have 3 conferences, it was funny. I was cooking coffees. Mustafa and Ahmed were actually working. And it was funny to see them having 3 parallel screens with 3 conferences, trying to put Heather in all in 3 parallel slots in the same time. Right, Heather?
Yep.
Where we are with that. Heather, my friend, welcome again.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Happy to be back on the road to ECS. And yeah, we have known each other a really long time, and I'm happy to be here. Those of you who don't know me, I'm a principal customer experience manager at Microsoft. I work on the M365 community, a lot of our events with our event producers and our community, building programs at scale, as it were. And yeah, I live in Los Angeles, so I'm here in California. And yeah, I've been in around the ecosystem since 2001. Crazy.
Yes. You're still very, very young.
True.
Let's just
moisturize.
I concur with that.
It's a state of mind, not the actual.
Speaking about the people who were with SharePoint from the beginning, Caruana.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's so much fun to be here, and we're very, very excited about the upcoming show. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Karuana Gatimu. I'm the director of the Customer Advocacy Group for AI and Collaboration. We're a global team. I'm so happy to have Heather on my team. We do everything from run the platforms for adoption.microsoft.com and the global Microsoft tech community to manage and deliver all these Microsoft presence at these amazing events. And of course, we also run communitydays.org so people can find an event near them. I have the best job in the universe because I get to hang out with people that I enjoy, like all of you, right? This is like a job where I get to hang out with my friends. And so I appreciate having it. I've been at Microsoft since 2011, but I've been in the ecosystem for like 30 years. So been around, a while. And yes, youth is a state of mind.
That's definitely state of mind. You now mentioned global community, Microsoft Global Community Initiative, and everything. I think that most of our listeners or viewers know, people who follow this webcast / podcast know about that, because it really is a important and awesome initiative coming from Microsoft, coming from you guys. What is going on? But can you just give us few minutes overview, like the bird eye view? What is it, and why is it important? Like for somebody who maybe knows about larger events in Europe, let's say ECS or ESPC and like those other larger events, but maybe who is somebody not so much involved in local communities, in smaller events which are going on, regardless, Europe, North America, anywhere in the world, because I know that I know it really is a worldwide initiative. And I honestly think that the local events are as important as the big magnet events, which bring a lot of people together. So if you could just give us, what was the motivation, how you started, and how did we come to where we are today?
Oh, that's fantastic. Heather, I'm just going to do kind of the history and then I'll hang it over to you.
Yeah.
So, we're very lucky to work with Jeff Teeper, who's the president of Collaborative Apps and Platforms. And he is a huge community, evangelist and supporter. Some people don't actually understand what community is, right? They don't understand its importance when you're running a big product like SharePoint or something else. But Jeff always has. He's understood the value of bringing people together so that they can share and learn in small and large environments. And so, of course, some of you folks out there may remember SharePoint Saturdays, one of the places where I got my start and began to learn all about SharePoint and meet amazing people. These were these free one-day events that were just all over the globe, literally everywhere, prior to the pandemic. But then the pandemic came. And of course, that was, the community was drastically impacted by that because we literally couldn't get together. And so then these virtual events started to come up, but it was still needed some love. And that is really where the Global Community Initiative was born. Jeff wanted to make sure that Microsoft was helping to power the community, but the community is led by people not at Microsoft. Right? The community is led by people out in the community. So we like to say that the Global Community Initiative is led by the community, but powered by us. We provide infrastructure, and Heather has, of course, come onto my team, and she is now its loving, steward that she does so much great work to keep the officers and the regional leaders and everything happening. But we really wanted to make sure that the next generation of people coming into this ecosystem would have the benefit of the community like we all did. My career is, 85% a result of being involved in the community and meeting people and learning things and putting in the work. And we want to make sure everybody gets that opportunity to meet each other and make these lifelong connections, and also just, know who to reach out to. You can feel kind of alone in the world today as you're learning all this tech when it's going so fast. And the community is really the antidote to that with true human connection. So I'm excited about it. I think it's a huge honor to be able to run this program for Microsoft. I'm so grateful that Jeff has been such an evangelist about it inside and outside Microsoft, across the other executives. So people like Charles Lamanna and other folks, and as Copilot became an emerging service, they too now understand how important these things are. And we've expanded the types of free events that happen. Now they're across all of M365, Microsoft 365, instead of just SharePoint, for instance. It's really amazing. And Heather, you want to add to that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, that was an excellent history. Yeah, I mean, it came out of necessity of us wanting to have a place, and a lot of credit going to, there was literally a Facebook post that popped off about what are we going to do? SPS.events.org is closing, and so many community folks were in it. We were in it, and Jeff was in it. And so that's and it was a conversation. And that's what's so cool about this, and the longstanding relationships we all have with each other. And the MGCI, so the Microsoft Global Community Initiative, is the entity that is doing support and providing infrastructure. And I'm continuously working with. We have 12 board members. We've got about 70 regional leaders. We meet once a month. We're putting on general session meetings, like sharing best practices. We have an event training specific about tools and how-tos. And there's badges. There's just all these different programs. You can list your event in our community social media. So like basically you put something in, it comes over to actually Jonathan on our team who triages it, and it goes out on the Microsoft Community LinkedIn channel. So our owned and operated channels you can dip into. Also, Tom Daly, who is a wonderful Microsoft MVP out of New York, New Jersey, was saying, hey, this site's going down. That can't happen. And so he was like, I'm going to build a site. And we were like, what? What are you doing? Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, how can we help? And he was like, we're going to build it. Community's going to build it. Community's going to work on it, volunteer and all of that. But we put it on Microsoft infrastructure. So it's on our community tenant site, and it's been there for 3 years. We just celebrated the 3-year anniversary of communitydays.org. And that's a free place where you can list your event. You can do your call for content. You can do your call for speakers. You can put all of this information up there and have a place for free where you can list and amplify your event. So I'm really proud of the relationships that we've built between the board and the regional leaders, and the programs that we have out in the world to support event producers and local, these one day, technical skilling events that have cropped up all over the world, a la, SharePoint Saturdays. So
Yeah.
super fun.
And there's one other that's fantastic, Heather. And there's one other small piece. What I like about it is, sometimes with Microsoft initiatives, they can come and go with the passing of the guard and the day. Heather and I are very focused on building something that outlasts, our tenure in this area. And that's why it's so important that it's led by actual community members and also be inclusive. Other people, yourselves included, have other places to list events or, are doing other things. We try to just pull those into that one place, but that doesn't mean somebody else can't do something else if they want to build something else. This isn't about like corporate control, right? That's not what community is. Community is people doing what's in front of them and making connections that are meaningful to them, that help them with their career and to build skills and to have some meaning out of this place we spend so much of our time. So I love being able to bring that, to the world in that way and be open and collaborative, which is, of course, what this is all about, right? It's about collaboration.
Really short, shameless plug. The company that both Mustafa and me work at the Run Events is one of the global sponsors of the.
You are, and have been since the beginning. Yes,
since the beginnings, and Run Events is for free for all the community events that run through there. And that triggered me because when you both mentioned Tom and pulling things together, I remember the night actions from my side, from Tom. This was morning actions, actually trying to gather all the events which are running over Run Events, and on the collabs to actually be automatically pulled into the entry. I said it's actually a awesome initiative, awesome story going on. But Caruana, you said one thing which is insanely important, and I'm circling now to also our few other community friends, to leave something to the young people, new generations which are coming. At the last ECS, I was approached by 2 people independently. One of them was from Microsoft, and the other one was not at the Microsoft at that point of time. Now he is. Kimo Force, the legend in our in our space that you both know very well, and Paolo Pialorzi, another legend in our space that you both know very well, telling basically the same things. We need young people. We need new people, because sometimes it can get the feeling, as Kimo had put, nobody wants to look Kimo for 30 years on the stage.
Right. I say the same thing. Yeah.
I could watch.
Are you tired of listening to me and Heather yet?
I have conflict on that side, because certain numbers say different things. Like from
no, you are right. You are right. We will come to that. But with on initiative from Kimo and Paolo, we had an experiment. And I might say this experiment works very well. Mustafa, do you want to take this part to speak about and to officially announce our young speaker / mentee program? Here.
Yeah, that came from that idea that we are going to include people without any actual speaking experience to give them a space on ECS. To be like clear, we do try to involve new people on ECS all the time, and our numbers are that approximately 20 to 30% of people speaking at ECS are speaking there for the first time. So we are trying to bring new people, not only watched chemo for the last 30 years.
Sorry, but those 20, 30% are
But they are mostly experienced.
Yes, but who are maybe known
Or
people
established, maybe.
or whatever. But we here speak about people who were never on the stage.
Yes.
And who might be intimidated with, oh God, this is Karuana Gatimu. I know her from LinkedIn and from all those podcasts. And how can I be on the same stage as Karuana? You can.
Yes, you can.
That works. Yes, you can. We are
yes, we can.
So Mustafa, back to you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's a big difference. As much as we try, these are usually more experienced speakers, people who are speaking at the ECS for the first time, but have certain speaking experience and did speak at different events before. Now, this program was focusing on people without speaking experience, like people who want to join this community and try just try the big stage, like being on the same stage as some of very famous speakers worldwide. And we had basically people sign up, apply for speaking to be the young speaker to be selected. Overall, we selected 3 of them. And
or was it 3?
On the other side, it's 3. On the other side, it's about basically one from Collab, BizOps, and AI and Cloud side.
Right.
And on the other side, on our speaker form for our community sessions, we ask all the speakers, are you willing to mentor someone who would be on the stage for the first time? Vast majority says absolutely. So that was not a problem. So it was very easy to find a mentor, but we have 3 mentors guiding these young speakers, giving them advices, preparing them to take that stage and deliver a session.
And I need to tell those names. It's like Lee Stott is mentoring a young guy who is 17 who has all the Microsoft Azure certificates with 17. I mean, this is insane.
And not only Microsoft, it's IBM and cybersecurity and AI.
That's cool.
That's fantastic. I mean, I think it's really important because you're hitting on 2 things. Yes, we need to have new speakers who are new and can be trained in how to give, a really great presentation, and new at event speakers. But you're hitting on something that's also one of my passions, which is storytelling. Right. There's so many of us who are, excel at our technical skills, but may not know how to translate that into a compelling story on stage or in this sort of a forum as well. And, I teach that, I write about that. It's a really important skill because when you're in a boardroom with a bunch of C-suite folks, they don't want the deepest technical details all the time. What they need is to understand the value of what's happening. And just quickly, I will say that I used to have the worst imposter syndrome because often at these like SharePoint Saturdays, I wouldn't be showing my code, even though I'd written some, or my configuration, even though I'd built it. I'd really be talking about how you bring these things together and drive value and what have you. And so I was usually maybe the only person doing that sort of a talk. And I thought, oh, I need to be more like these other people. No, I didn't. I needed to be myself. And so do all those new people you're bringing into their event. Everybody's perspective matters in this business. And there's room for pro developers and makers and people like me, business solution architects and more. We just have to make sure people feel comfortable and don't have to maybe go through that imposter syndrome the same way that the rest of us did.
For sure. That's so cool. Yeah, I love it that you're doing that.
And Kimo and Ahmad as mentors for those.
Fantastic.
That's I think that's going to work.
You're touching on something too. A couple things. One, I love bringing people along. The rising tide lifts all boats. So I'm very purposeful. I bring a lot of people along. A lot like Femke Cornelissen, her first keynote, I brought her along there. Nisiani, who was just with me, she did her first AI tour. There's times when I want to speak by myself, right? Because I've worked very hard to, be on the stages as well. But I like bringing people along. And what I love about the global initiative is that we talk to event producers about these issues, about new speakers, and you all who put on shows, these bigger shows, you're always leading in that way. Like you all, like I could name all of like ESPC, the David Wilhelms of the world, all of that. Like you all lead on making sure there's diversity and inclusion thinking behind who is in your keynote stages and at your breakout sessions, what the splits are, for making sure women have opportunities, making sure there's diversity in speakers, making sure you have an event code of conduct that makes sense so that everybody's on the same page for that, bringing in new speakers, creating opportunities for people that just, you have to be deliberate about these things. In community happens everywhere. Sometimes it's on Discord, it's in front of your face, it's over here, it's over there. However, when we are empathetic to everybody and we bring those opportunities to the table, it's just better. It just simply is. And so just thank you for continuing to lead on those sorts of things. And it's important. And it's important that you all who are, leading these bigger events do that, because it trickles down to the smaller events as well, so that people are all on the same page for those sorts of things.
Well,
And
that kind comes of natural. I really need to circle back to Kimo saying, are people getting bored of seeing always all same on the stage? I remember how I was put without any preparation. This was actually by Croatian Microsoft, a dear friend of mine who worked in the regional sub in Croatia. It was 2003. He put me on stage in front of 600 people, said, "You are talking about SharePoint." I'm like, "God, no." He was like, "God, yes." We don't have
That's how we all, a lot of us came in that way, but it doesn't have to be that way for other people.
Exactly.
That's a good piece of why I do a lot of what, I built this group at Microsoft to do. I don't necessarily think anybody should have to come up the way I did in the circuitous route and being pushed off a bunch of cliffs and thrown in a bunch of deep water. I managed to make it, but that's not true of everyone. And is it fair either, right? And so I think having a little more empathetic approach to bringing people along is good. And that doesn't mean that they aren't earning their chops along the way, right? Everybody has to work hard in this business. And whether you are, part of one of the inclusivity events that we do, or part of this new program that you're announcing here, everybody's working really hard. So I don't want anybody to mistake that, but that doesn't mean that we can't be more intentional with making this a welcoming place. And I think owning the fact that those of us who have been around a while do set the standard, and people do listen to what we say and emulate what we do, I think is an important part of the leadership that folks like you bring to the table. Right. And so, there's value in those of us who've been around a long time, and we can share those standards and those kind of structures with folks, and then they can evolve it. They can do what works for them, for sure.
Awesome. Let's now go to our second topic. It's a favorite topic. We can, and just for our friendly thought, we are going to talk about computer intelligence. Now we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, but Lee hates when we call it computer intelligence, and this is why we are doing it.
And this is going on a year and a half now, so it's
this is now for 2 years. This is going on for 2 years. It's an internal joke, but we always pull.
That's great.
And I was a little bit also triggered in preparation for this call. Caruana just told she came back from Davos and everything that was going on there. Today I was in our office, which I don't visit that often because most of our people, including me, are working from home and everything. But today was obviously had a new colleague, new co-worker in run events, and I was setting up things for her. It took me 10 minutes, and I'm not joking. It took me 10 minutes to find the page, the link from where I can download the Office desktop apps now. Usually my goal would be office.com, and I will get this beautiful portal for those things. Now I'm coming to Copilot. Wherever I go left, there's a Copilot. I go right, there's a Copilot. I go up or down, there's a Copilot. It's okay. In the meantime, I'm also Microsoft MVP for artificial intelligence, or AI platform, how it's officially called. And but we cannot somehow ignore, and we shouldn't, and why would we ignore the fact that AI is not coming, AI is here, and we need to say that the first phase of flirting with AI is gone. now we are doing business with AI. Flirt is gone, now marriage. Let's hope it's going to be a happy, nice marriage, and it's not going to crash on different ways. But we are out of the flirt times. I think we all can agree on that one.
I think that depends on who you are, though. I mean, yes, we're doing business with AI and it's here, but that's because we're in the strata of businesses and professionals that live in this world. If I go down to some of the local small businesses or even pretty large ones here in Arizona, they haven't deployed Copilot yet. They don't understand what it is. And this also goes back to bringing new people into our community. Sometimes we forget that we have to define the terms, like doing the 101 with people, helping them understand the difference between Copilot Chat and M365 Copilot. Like, what is M365? I mean, I think that we take for granted the knowledge that we have, and we're not super great at bringing new people along. And this has extended itself into the AI world at this point by assuming that people have this kind of basic understanding of what generative AI can do, whatever vendor you're getting it from. And that's actually not true. So I think what we have to be really careful about is the split between the people who have already onboarded and are now, to your point, doing business with AI, and the people who are still like, I don't know about this stuff. Like, what are you really talking about? Isn't it dangerous? There's a lot of AI anxiety in the world, I find.
How do we bridge that gap?
I think it's about education and language. One of the things that I write about and I talk about a lot now is that we have to stop using so much jargon when we're talking to people about these things. We have to really focus on human-centric language. When I'm with academics and scientists at the MIT event, obviously I can have a different conversation. But when I'm in a business-centric room, I really need to be having conversations with language that is relevant to the people I'm talking to. And that's a skill, going back to your storytelling earlier, that we haven't really built that muscle very well. This was true when we moved to Teams, when we moved to the cloud, when we, went to Power BI. This has always been true. It's just worse now because of the anxiety associated with AI. So we have to take some accountability as leaders at this particular time to change the conversation in ways that people can connect. When I show a Copilot to my mother-in-law and I tell her to just talk to it on the consumer version on her cell phone and ask it to plan her trip into Scottsdale, all of a sudden her eyes light up. But if you just talk to her about AI, it's like this nebulous thing that she can't understand. In the business sense, we need to do similar things. I'm sure, Heather, you have thoughts about this as well, but I can talk about this a long time.
No, totally. And, it harkens back to the same, you're an adoption specialist, Caruana. That's been your life, a lot of your work, right? And when I was out in the world as an MVP and consultant, that was my shtick, the end user adoption workshop and getting people to, and frankly, the 10 steps that are about end user adoption have not changed. They ebb and flow a little bit, but it's the same basic stuff about how to figure out how to use things. But to me right now, one of the big things that I'm doing all the time is I teach all the time as well, because I'm teaching people how to produce events and how to do all the different aspects and stuff. But I literally last week I was on a share on a meeting and I was like, okay, everybody, this I just want to make sure everybody understands how to do this. And so I literally opened up Copilot. I typed in, create this kind of a document, create this thing, whoop, and how to do it. And everybody was like, and because people also, it's the same thing. People don't want to feel stupid. None of us want to feel stupid. And so people don't, sometimes you need to see things because we all learn differently too, but I'm very visual. And so I showed people how to create an agent the other day. I created an agent for our Mondays at Microsoft show. I have a script agent that I created to pull news articles and bring it together and all of that stuff, which is super cool. Yeah. And how to do a newsletter, how to do an agent on a newsletter, pointing at a bunch of PowerPoints of a meeting that we do every month. So those sorts of things, if you get a use case that is something that somebody does and you show them how to do it and then it's not scary, they're more apt to do it. But we tend at Microsoft to just barf so much content at people and have so many places to find things and everything that people are like, I don't even know where to start. So that's a lot of the work that we do on our team is trying to at least
been trying where to download the Office apps.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, just for your audience, the best way to download an Office app is to go to an Office app and go to Manage Account. And then you can get all the apps that are attached to your subscription, just so you know.
Found
And,
it.
you know, but that's kind of an oxymoron as well, by the way. I get that that's not as smart as it could be. And that's one of the reasons we created adoption.microsoft.com. You know, before I started that site 7 years ago, there were 16 different places to get all this information for all the different apps. And now you have one, and that is helpful, but we're actually simplifying it right now. We're excited to, we've released the Essentials Guide to Copilot adoption, and now more is going to happen on that site to simplify this journey for people. I think that's the user journey. I also think there's a broader industry and governmental conversation to have about the way that we're governing and managing AI. And that's a different conversation. They both need to go together to bring folks so that they're actually getting something valuable, and we don't make any silly mistakes with the way that we're doing this work.
Yeah. And use everything. That's the other thing, is that like Copilot for your business, for inside, having that corporate veil of place that's safe and private, and all of the Microsoft goodness around that. But on my work computer, my other personal computer, I'm checking out everything. How does it work? What is this about? So I know all the different modems and mediums of how these things are working. And so like play. Go out and play with these things. So many free apps out there to just plunk on and figure it out.
Then again, that's for us nerds, and I have no issue calling it.
We are geeking out again. Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, regular people aren't going to do that. But I heard Will.i.am at the MIT events in Davos, and what he said was, don't just be a consumer of AI. Use it to build something. Let it, take your ideas into reality. That could be a vacation trip for your family, or it could be a new business idea, but don't just consume it. And I thought that was a really key mindset shift that I thought that maybe people could lean into, because people have a lot of great ideas and the world needs great ideas. AI can help you bring those ideas to reality if you use it as a tool like that. It's just like a hammer or a screwdriver or anything else. So how to build with it, I think, is important for the people who are inclined to do that, right?
Interesting enough, because for the product that we are building for Run Events, we obviously use a lot of AI under the hood. But at least I know that our marketing, I know that Anto is going to kill me after this. Anto is our guy in the backstage. I stopped talking, seriously, when I talk to customers that much about AI. For example, the last announcement we are actually making this week, but it's already part of the product, is our website builder on top of our Run Events, where basically you can describe and prompt your page. We don't call it AI builder. We call it pages. And each time we show that to somebody, but is it AI? Yes, but that's not important.
No,
it really
it's not. Yeah, it doesn't matter any more than there was ASPX or C++. It doesn't. There are people who aren't in the business as we are, don't need to know that really. Excuse me, because they just need to understand the function.
Yes. And this is like, we are bringing you as event organizer the possibility to sit down and to have your very decent looking website within 15 minutes.
Yep.
It's great. And that's what people care about. It's brilliant.
Not to know a single HTML tag or not to a single CSS selector. You don't need any of that.
No. People don't need to know how to code. They just need to get the results of coding, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like, but that's... So I think sometimes if we tune down the whole AI talk and show the value, maybe we make the bigger steps.
Yes. You have to have a balance, for sure. There's the, like Mustafa was like, us nerds are going to, the geek out on the AI. Yeah, absolutely. And then other people are like, I just need to solve a problem. I just need to put a content calendar together for this thing that I'm doing and have somebody help me do all the content and the social media posts and everything. You can do that in Copilot. It's pretty easy, write me a plan for X, put all of the different blurbs in for all these different social media, doink,
Yeah, but one thing that Heather always takes for granted is her deep knowledge. She does this on a regular basis because she thinks everybody else should be as awesome as she's been doing events for 30 years. The woman is so one of the best, event producers in the world. And also from a messaging communications perspective, I think there's a part of this where people are undervaluing their own knowledge when they come to that AI prompt. And so they feel as if when the minute they hear artificial intelligence, they're confusing these generative tools with super intelligence and quantum and all the other things that we know are coming. These are not the same. These are you have to be smarter than the tool in many respects. Tell it what to do. And
Right.
Heather, you do that flawlessly, right? And it unlocks something in people's minds where they're like, oh, yeah, I know how to do that. I can write out some instructions and then save them as an agent for the next time, right? It's a conversational workflow in many respects. You don't have to know that it's AI or generative AI. That's not a thing. It's just going to do something for you, right? And so I love how, people like Heather who are experts at things, they take that knowledge for granted, but you come to the screen with your knowledge intact. And I encourage everyone to do that. Come to the screen with your knowledge intact. It's not smarter than you. You have to tell it what to do. It needs your guidance. It needs your wisdom. It's never going to have those things. Right. And so, that's one of the reasons I love going to Davos. I get reminded and energized about the power of human creativity and differentiating it from these tools.
To me, like I'm 5, this is exactly what you need to do to the current state of the AI. Explain to it like it's 5.
Right.
And it kind of works.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make the thing is that when you actually give it a prompt and it does something, you're like, wait a minute, that's what I would have said. It just makes you faster a lot of the times in spitting it out. That's what I find anyway. So yeah.
That's
absolutely.
the general idea. Like a lot of these, there's a lot of unknown, especially for, let's say, regular people. There's a lot of unknown around AI and a lot of fear of the unknown. And the narratives in circle, especially if you open LinkedIn, they're like, it's replacing everyone. No, if it's not replacing everyone. Like for us, we come from tech companies, right? So it's a little bit, but a narrative for a while was on LinkedIn that AI will replace developers. What I say to developers, no, it will not, but the developers that use AI will replace you if you're not using it.
Mustafa, but you need to be aware that most of the LinkedIn posts are nowadays written by AI, so it's actually AI claiming that AI is going to replace everyone.
Well, and I think that it's really important to differentiate, the kind of job. I think that if you are working on a manufacturing line or you run a forklift for a living, if you're in the trades, the physical trades, you do have something to worry about because robotics and AI together will transform manufacturing, supply chain management, shipping and delivery. These things are a fact. I think we have a responsibility as leaders to ensure that people go through a workforce transformation that ensures their quality of life. And I think that's a reasonable concern of some people. In our business, I'm less concerned because I just feel like what I provide can't be regenerated. But that's maybe my own arrogance as well. Right? That's true. But I do think that there are reasonable concerns about what AI is going to do to the economy, depending on the kind of job that you have, which is why it's so important that we have some global governance around what we're doing. And that we continue to really provide these opportunities for people to skill up and to learn new things. People don't have a lot of trust with the way business has handled workforce transformation in the past. I'll just speak in the United States. When manufacturing left our country, we left a lot of people behind. We didn't do a good job of helping them come along. And the results of that have been pretty poor. So I think we have an opportunity to lead differently this time. And it's very important that we take that seriously while we're making these human connections. And that's why I think the free events we do are so important, right? That's why the connections we make here and what you're doing with your event is so important. Anybody that we can inspire and bring along and bring into our community, we give them a chance at having a different life. And one person has a ripple effect. you help one person in a family improve their state of life, especially if it's a woman, and it raises that entire family up economically. So there's tremendous economic impact on what we do, and I think that's a privilege that I intend to use for good.
Yeah,
I'll now step off my soapbox about it, but you hit a nerve because I just really think
no,
that we need to do something about this.
I can just completely agree with what you just said. I mean, I have nothing to add to that one. Let's put it this way, we are living in the, at least from the technology perspective, a very interesting time. So this is sometimes, even for us who are in this for a long time, it's very difficult to say where are we going to be in 2 or 5 or 10 years. This is maybe for the first time in my life I feel like that I have difficulties to say where are we going to be technology wise in 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think 5 years out anymore. The most I can think about is 3, and I'm really worried about the next 24 months. Because we have so many decisions to make right now that will determine what that 3rd and 5th and 10th year look like. What we do in the next 24 months, individually, societally, in our organizations, with technology, it really matters right now. So, good people like yourselves and everyone coming along, I think we're going to be okay.
So, everyone, this is also conversation. If you want to have more of this, come to Cologne to Cologne in May. We have been 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, Mustafa, it feels like 2 months ago. We have been 2 weeks ago. We have been in Cologne.
Less than 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks on Wednesday.
We think that it's a brand new venue. It smells like new car. It smells like a new car inside.
I'm so excited. That's going to be great.
You should see nerds in us. Mustafa and me were just checking the screens.
Geeking out all the time.
Oh, that's so cool.
They don't have projectors. They've
I
got
never seen such a clear code resolution on a big screen. Like
Ooh, that's cool.
It's just like a huge LEDs. Like we speak like, I don't know, 300-inch LEDs around.
Wow.
No projectors. And it was like, we are geeking out a bit. Venue is new. And in the evening, we were also visiting the party venue, which is going to be awesome. And our very special friend from our main sponsor, it's a Swiss company, Experts Inside, and she's their marketing guru, Isidora Katarin. She was with us, and we were just going around doing the venue sighting.
Yeah, right. That's what you were doing. Of
course. And we found a band which is going to also, by pure chance, we found a band which is going to be playing on during the party. So this is going. I'm just going to say this going. Whoever is not coming, they're lost. Totally, they're lost.
And you get to see Adam Harmitz, our VP of Product for
yes.
Driving SharePoint. Super excited to have Adam come to this show and keynote. So that's going to be awesome.
We did not speak about content this time. We are sailing towards the end of this episode. We need to say the whole content, but especially the keynotes and global sessions. The third global session is not yet fully confirmed, Mustafa, as much as I know, right? But
little part of
should be also soon from the BizApp side. But we have 2 main keynoters which we couldn't be more proud of, and this is Adam. And it's for the first time for Adam to come to the. This is also awesome, and we have the returning person to do his returning thing again. We've got again the awesome Marco Casalaina more on the Cora and the Azure side. So this is just going to be rock and roll. I'm sorry, this is just going to be total rock and roll. So both days, 2 of them are keynoting, opening with the general sessions, with global sessions on both days. And if for nothing else, you should be there for Adam Harmitz and Marco Casalaina. I just need to say that's.
I agree. We agree.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to have a wonderful time. It's going to be fantastic. And, the conversations you have in between the sessions are so valuable. There's so much to learn. and so many people to meet, but it's also the conversations you have in between those. I mean, you do such a beautiful show and you give so many opportunities for people to just have those conversations before, during, and after the sessions. It's really fantastic. So I'm tremendously excited.
And as you both know, we have really, and this is deliberate, we have Expo as the main part of the show. And that's not only for the sponsors, they also have a value of that, let's be sure. We had 90 awesome sponsors which are going to be there.
Awesome.
But it's we don't call it an Expo hall for purpose. We call it our Expo village. And we do give it a bit of a village charm with the street art and banks and everything. Why? All the cool people, including those two ladies who are in our guest today, are going to spend a lot of time there. So come, approach, talk to people. I think that our speakers are very approachable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everybody is very, very cool. And this is one of the places where you can actually meet the people building the apps that you are using, which is awesome.
That's right.
And actually have a beer with them, or glass of wine, or Coke, or whatever, water. It's like, I think it's just an awesome opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. What you do at the village is lovely. It's great. There's so many presentations and connection points, and, you know, it's community, basically.
It should be.
It's
Yeah.
community.
It's
Let's
fantastic.
finish with Heather Sports. It's community.
It is community. Absolutely.
Caruana, Heather, I'm so much looking forward to see you in May.
Yeah.
We are as well. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful location and beautiful people.
Thank you very much. And see you very, very soon. It's only 3 months.
Yeah. 3 months. And
Yes.
we'll chat soon too. Because,
See you very soon.
See you very soon.